Yesterday, 4 home runs connected the Sox and Tigers in a dandy at U.S. Cellular Field. Ageless Miguel Cabrera hit 2, putting the Tigers ahead and tying him with Paul Konerko on the all-time list. Later, former Tiger Alex Avila tied the game for his current club, only to see Justin Upton go deep in the 11th to take the Tigers to the finish line. Tonight, Miguel Gonzalez and Matt Boyd have the task of keeping the ball in the park in Game 2. Summer's got some staying power in Chicago. It's a hot and humid one for Game 2 as the Sox and Tigers get together once again from U.S. Cellular Field. Good evening, Jason Benetti along with you. Steve Stone will join me in a moment. The Tigers, with just under 30 games remaining, trying to get to that wild card tape and be one of the teams that make it to the playoffs. Tigers 75 and 62 so far this year. They're tied for that second wild card spot, a game behind the Red Sox, looking to hold off the Astros, Yankees, Royals, and Mariners. So today, the Sox and Tigers with the offenses, the stars yesterday. The pitching matchup is important here. Miguel Gonzalez off the DL for the Sox.
Miguel Gonzalez is healthy again, and when he was throwing the ball, he threw it pretty well for about a 5-week period. In fact, when you take a look at what he did from July 1st through August 5th, he was actually very good with an ERA of 2.76. The record was not good. And the record against the Tigers lifetime, 1-4 with a 9-point ERA, so he's got his hands full. They got some bombers. Miguel Cabrera yesterday hit a couple of home runs. He also drove the ball hard twice. And then late in the ball game, it was Justin Upton. His 3-run homer eventually won it. He's been hot. Cabrera's been hot. And this Tiger team has a whale of an offense.
Meantime, for Detroit, the left-hander Matt Boyd on the mound. A different look than Justin Verlander.
Matt Boyd is a soft-tossing left-hander. However, last time out, he didn't throw the ball exceptionally well. But look at the starts. 9 of them since July 9th. He's 5-0, ERA 2.55. When he faced our ball club in Detroit, he only lasted 4 innings, gave up 7 hits. However, he only gave up a couple of runs. So this guy is one of the 3 rookies in a starting rotation. He's pretty good. Sox handled him well. They just couldn't score against him.
Game 2 coming up. Sox and Tigers from U.S. Cellular Field. Melky brought it back early, stealing one from Cameron Maybin yesterday. Then the offense has turned it on late. Tigers and Sox coming up.
part by Toyota. Discover more in a Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com or your local Toyota dealer today. Let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Audi. Truth in engineering. And by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV.
Beautiful sky over U.S. Cellular Field here in Chicago. This is game number 2 of a 3-game series between the Tigers and the White Sox before an off day coming up on Thursday. We told you in the open the home runs were flying to provide most of the offense yesterday. Don't forget, though, Chris Sale and Justin Verlander were fantastic at the beginning of the game. It just turned out to be a home run that ended up being your game winner as Miguel Gonzalez tries to follow that up.
It was really wonderful to watch two guys throwing the ball as well as they could throw it, two of the best in baseball, and all of the pregame hype lived up to what it was supposed to be. And then, of course, Justin Upton, who's been red hot, decided the ball game. But tonight, a different night. However, very hot, very humid at the ballpark. It will be very lively again.
Isn't that always how it goes for the pitchers, though, by the way? They don't get that headline billing because the offenses do it late. Starting lineup presented by Kia for the Tigers today. Maben at the top, back from his thumb injury yesterday. Iglesias, Cabrera, 2 Martinez's. Upton, McGee, Saltalamacchia, and Romine for the second-best batting average team in the American League entering the series.
The Honda City defensive setup. And now Robin is going to put him out there tonight. Melky Cabrera. Leury Garcia playing center field with Abisail, Garcia, and right. That's Frazier, Anderson, Saladino, and Abreu in the infield with Omar Narvaez getting the nod behind the plate. Our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Miguel Gonzalez, back from a groin injury. Put him on the shelf for quite some time. This is his 19th start. Despite being 2-6, he's had some very good moments, and he filled into the rotation when Matt Latos was asked out of the rotation, and Miguel has done a nice job. He has a lot of experience from his days with the Baltimore Orioles. The umpires for the game tonight. The crew chief, Tom Hallion, behind the plate. Dan Bellino is at first, Phil Cuzzy at second, and Adam Hammery is at third. And so, at 91 degrees at game time, with the wind very much a factor, blowing toward the left field corner, we're ready to play baseball. And I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner. Yes, the inimitable Jason Benetti.
What?
Inimitable.
Ah.
Yes.
That's the nicest thing anybody's said to me all day. Thank you, Stoney.
And unique. And you were down on the field to see all the ceremonies from Mike Leary. It was beautiful.
Our producer, who is departing after the game today for Texas. Miguel Gonzalez, first pitch, fouled away at 7:11 tonight at U.S. Cellular Field. Thanks for joining us wherever you may be. 91 degrees at first pitch time on September the 6th.
Wind out of the south at 16 miles an hour, although the gusts are a little brisker than that. And Detroit knocking at the door of that wild card.
We showed you the standings off the top of the show. The Tigers are tied for that second wild card position, just a game back of Boston, and it is really bunched up. That's the point of the wild card, to have a pack there, but this is a large pack.
Well, certainly what was on the mind of Bud Selig, who started the wild card, the first one and the second one. He decided he wanted more teams in the race longer to get more fandoms excited late in the ball game, and that's certainly exactly how it's turned out.
2-2. Gonzalez is inside. 3-2. Miguel Gonzalez out for about a month since August the 11th with a groin injury. Had a nice season for the Sox.
What you really worry about is control when you haven't pitched in a long time.
It's a ground ball here for Maben. A more leisurely first out than yesterday. Then Melky Cabrera stole a home run from Maben on. One down.
That was a cutter and a good spot when you've got to get the ball over the plate, knowing that the hitter's going to be looking fastball. He threw it on the outside corner. Maben rolled over. Got that ground ball right at Frazier and an easy first out.
So here's Iglesias, who was 1 for 5 yesterday, with a single to lead off the 11th inning. Tigers capitalized on a couple walks in that 11th. Upton then the big blast, 3-run homer to win it. Although 3 nearly was not enough in that game. The Sox put together something of a rally in the 11th, scored once and brought the tying run to the plate. The shortstop, Tim Anderson, is there, and 2 ground ball outs greet Miguel Gonzalez in his return.
Throwing ground balls on a night like tonight is the best you could possibly do. And the reason is, with the wind blowing hard toward the left field corner, you get a fly ball up in the air, especially with the strength of these Tiger hitters. But with a lot of humidity, ball level actually travels a bit more. The heat, the ball travels a bit more, and this Tiger team is very powerful.
We saw it with this guy yesterday, Miguel Cabrera, who hit 2 home runs in his first 2 at-bats, and there he scorches one on the ground for out number 3. 3 straight ground ball outs for Miguel Gonzalez. The Sox take aim at Boyd after this. Tonight in Game 2 of the series, Anderson, then Saladino. Adam Eaton gets a rare day off. Cabrera, Abreu, Frazier. Garcia, number 1, is Avi Garcia. Then Jason Coates back up from Charlotte. Omar Narvaez, and the return of Leury Garcia, who had a very nice season with AAA Charlotte.
The Honda City defensive setup, and now Brad Ausmus is going to put him out there tonight. Justin Upton, Cameron Maven, and J.D. Martinez in the outfield. Then it's Jones, Iglesias, Romine, and Cabrera in the infield. James McCann, once again, the nod behind the plate. And Matt Boyd on the hill.
There is Mr. Boyd, the left-hander who has a fastball around 91 on average. He'll face Tim Anderson first, who's 3 out of 9 this season against Boyd, and takes a first pitch rip, 0-1. Tim a hit in 24 of his last 27 games entering play tonight. Boyd's in there again with a strike, 0-2.
Best thing about Tim Anderson is, number 1, even though he still does not walk very much, he's getting more selective in the strike zone.
That's tapped foul. Selective in the strike zone, the definition being?
There's a lot of young hitters that are so afraid to strike out that they swing at a pitch in the zone that they can't handle. And more times than not, let's say if it's low and away in the zone, they ground out. He's waiting for good strikes. Then he'll attack him. Doesn't matter if it's first pitch or the third pitch. And that's one of the reasons he's hitting .287.
Check swing from Anderson. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
We're going to take a look at the defense again because it's slightly different. There's McGee at third, Jared Saltalamacchi behind the plate. The reason why Salty catches is that Boyd is a rookie, and you want a veteran catcher in there with a rookie on the hill so you can help to ease him through this performance.
Former 6th-round pick of the Blue Jays. He came over as part of the haul for David Price. They got Daniel Norris as well, who's also been a big part of this rotation.
They got Fulmer in the deal for Cespedes. These were all last year's trade deadline deals. And so Dave Dombrowski did a great job of helping to a lot of this team together.
There's a ground ball through for Tim Anderson. It's a leadoff base hit for the Sox rookie shortstop.
Normally when he gets one, he's going to get at least one more. And he spoiled a couple of pitches to finally get this one. A fastball in the zone. Takes it through the left side. Now when McGee was playing before he was sent down briefly, his defense was good. It was the offense that was lagging behind, but he couldn't get to that one.
So Tyler Saladino, the batter, after a 1-for-5 yesterday, including an RBI hit. A swinging strike. You can tell Sox are being very aggressive early. That seems to be the book on Boyd.
Well, he's going to throw a lot of strikes. He does throw a curveball and a slider both. The question is, will he have one real good one tonight? He also has a cutter and a bit of a straight change, which is a work in progress.
Breaking ball inside and low, 1-1. You mentioned the multi-hit games for Anderson, who's on already tonight. 27 multi-hit games in his first 74 as a White Sox player. That's tied for the 5th most all-time in franchise history.
Been a very solid and somewhat amazing run for Tim Anderson.
5th most all alone now with the 27. Maybe going on 28 tonight. 2-1 on Saladino. Boyd looks like he's a little frustrated with himself.
Well, if Robin would like for a pitcher who throws 60% fastballs behind in the count, this is a good time to use the hit and run because you're not going to see a pitch out.
Boyd checks on Anderson.
A right-hander move to first depends on quickness. A left-hander's move to first depends on deception. And more times than not, the good ones make you think like they're coming home with it, only to see the ball very quickly at first base.
What's the difference in physically how you create a pickoff move for a righty versus a lefty?
You want to try to hang, if you're a left-hander, you want to try to hang that front leg. And you hang it long enough, but you don't bring it back over the rubber. If you take the left leg, in this case the right leg, and bring it back over the rubber, you have to go home. If you don't, it's a balk.
On the ground, sharply hit Iglesias Romine, who could have gotten handcuffed and didn't. 6-4-3 on the double play.
One of the big problems with no movement is you are susceptible with every pitch to a double play ground ball. This ball's hit hard, but it's hit to the wrong guy. Iglesias, very sure-handed. Not the greatest throw for Romine to handle, but he handles it well. That's the 10th double play Saladino's grounded into.
Base is clear, 2 down. Melky Cabrera is the hitter. In his now age 32 season, Melky has had a fine year. 40 walks, 61 strikeouts, 10 homers to his name as well. Right field side, an arching foul. 0-2 on Melky.
Boyd has a little better fastball than the normal so-called soft tossing left-handers. He can get it up there 94. He pitches comfortably. 91-92. Saltalamacchia wants an outside fastball. Let's see if he gets it there.
Outside-ish. Strike 3 nonetheless. He hit the glove. Inning over. No score after 1. from CSNChicago.com, or at least so says this paper here. We welcome in Dan Hayes, just in case we didn't know who you were. Hey, Dan, how are you?
I'm good. I'm well. How are you, Jason?
You're good and well.
I am.
That's fantastic. Well, what do you have that's good for us?
James Shields, everything sounds like his back is coming around nicely. The White Sox had an MRI for him the other day, but they said that they didn't see anything that was too much of a cause for concern. So they haven't announced when he will pitch yet, but it sounds like he's on track to stay in the rotation. His turn probably lines up on Saturday, but they, again, all to be determined on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
We told you as well that Leury Garcia's up. He's in the lineup. Jason Coates is up. There's some news on guys who won't be up.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought maybe Carson Fulmer would be back. Rick Hahn said today that everybody that's here is now here, and that means Zach Birdie, his season comes to an end after 68 innings. Rick Hahn talked about that the other day even. He mentioned there was a little bit of the workload. I mean, you're talking about 68 innings between Louisville, between the minor leagues. They were very happy with the way he progressed through 4 stops. Carson Fulmer, they liked the way he ended the season on an up note with the last 3 starts, very strong at AAA Charlotte.
We heard that you almost missed your flight leaving Minnesota. Is that right?
Oh, it was close.
Yeah?
Yeah. Game ended, I think, made it in 28 minutes to the airport and got through security in 3.
You were doing like the McAllister family Home Alone sprint through the airport thing?
I think if there was a Matrix-like scene where I hurtled through the air, it was pretty awesome. I was the last guy on the plane.
On Birdie, by the way, before we let you go. Congratulations on that, by the way. On Birdie, he's not coming up in part because of the way options work. Is that right?
That hasn't been clarified. I haven't gotten too much on that. I think a lot of it really had to do with the workload and the fact that the 68 innings was huge. I mean, you look at guys in the bullpen, they throw that a lot for a total season, and he's done that since February. So I think that really played into it. They said they've seen so much from him and so much good progress over those 4 levels. It just sounded that played a lot into it.
Interesting.
I think absolutely it makes sense because he has accomplished what they wanted him to accomplish. You leave everybody with a pretty good feeling, including him, and then you go from there.
And I think where the team, were they in a pennant race, that would probably have influenced it a little bit more. And I think that at the same, when that kind of went out of the way, that they said we're going to slow this down. Why bring him up when, obviously they could use some answers in that 7th inning, but they think they can find that out from him next year.
Great. Dan, always a pleasure to get to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you. I wish I could say the same.
Wow.
Get out of here.
Wow, an attack.
Scram. Go find a hot tub or patio furniture or something. Dan Hayes with a great escape from the booth.
That appeared to be a broadside.
Don't let the door hit you. Strike 1 to J.D. Martinez. You can follow Dan Hayes, our White Sox insider, all season long on CSNChicago.com. Presented by The Great Escape. Pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Escape your everyday shop. The Great Escape.
Pretty good pitch to Victor Martinez. You don't see him against a right-hander strike out a whole lot, but he got him that time. And here's the guy in Detroit who was close to a one-man gang against Sox pitching.
High fly ball right field side, and Martinez has angled it foul.
That was a break because that was a breaking ball that was spinning right up in his eyes, and normally when you do that it winds up as a souvenir, only it's in fair territory. You see it here, it's a curveball. This comes up rolling on the inner portion, and JD jammed himself.
He knew it too.
Yeah, he did. He's not very happy at this point.
Upstairs, and he went after it. Gonzalez takes down Martinez. 2nd straight strikeout. 2 down.
After a rolling breaking ball, he throws the shoulder-high fastball and throws it right by him. That's how you can be overpowering with a fastball that is anything but.
So we told you that Mike Leary, our producer, is in his final game today, and we wish him very, very well, and we will elaborate on that later in the game. But there was some worry that because of the cake that the crew had for Mike Leary, that everybody would be a little overamped for the ball game today. And,
consequently, only 2 outs for the inning.
We get the music with 2 outs because of the cake. That's how it happens.
Blame it on the cake.
2 strikes on Upton. We have a tremendous crew. They are a fantastic people, and they do a wonderful job. And it's been a great year.
It has been that. The production crew is outstanding. And Mr. Leary, a big part of that.
We have a first pitch to show you later on in the broadcast.
I'll be able to break it down, analyze what he should do. Usually I recommend retirement when I see something like I saw before the game, but we'll take a closer look at it.
Your optimism is really my favorite characteristic of yours.
I'm one of those kind of guys. I feel, from a throwing standpoint, that Mike Leary's limitations are limitless.
Stephen Optimistic Stone, SOS. Your initials. There's a base hit for Upton with 2 strikes.
Justin Upton is just getting hotter and hotter, and it's perfect time because with Nick Castellanos on the shelf, they have to have Upton producing. And we saw how powerful he can be the opposite field yesterday.
1 on 2 out for Casey McGee. He was back a couple of weeks ago after a brief foray in June. Well, the Tigers, as the Sox are, a lot of games in the Central to close the year, and you look at the schedule coming up for the Tigers. It's 3 with Baltimore that are just huge after the off day on Thursday for Brad Ausmus's team. 3 with Baltimore, then Minnesota, Cleveland, Minnesota, Kansas City, Cleveland, and 3 on the road in Atlanta to close the year for the Tigers in an odd scheduling quirk. Somebody's got to be playing interleague, and the Tigers and Braves are the ones in the final 3-game series of the year.
I would think that the Tigers pretty happy with the late matchup if they can keep things alive, and they're showing every indication that they will.
Oh, 2. Braves have played better baseball since that rough start that got Freddie Gonzalez fired. However, if you have your choice of teams, they're going to be on the list of who you might want to close against.
They're battling for the first pick in the draft, and they're hot. They got a good shot at it.
And what a war is being waged for that pick. Anderson deep in the hole. Tim got him. What a play by Tim Anderson.
Running. Casey McGee does not have particularly good speed, but what a play by Tim Anderson in the hole, off balance throw, and he gets it there at least a step ahead of time. Just a big effort by Tim Anderson. He's got almost unlimited range, and he's out easily at first.
Arm's pretty good too, huh?
Yep. Yes, it is.
It's the type of guy that could play just about any position you threw him in, it seems like.
Well, one of the reasons at this point that he's going to stay at shortstop is he's hitting so well, you just don't want to disrupt anything. And I think he's got a chance, especially when you remember back to spring training where things just didn't go well defensively, to where he is now, the improvement seemingly 100%. A different guy we're seeing on a daily basis here than we saw in spring training, and that's a testament to his work ethic, his obvious athleticism. But the fact is, he loves to play shortstop, and the way he's playing, there's no reason to move him off anytime soon.
Well, I'm even arguing you could put him in other sports, and he would have great success.
He was a basketball player, but I think he picked the right sport.
Sure seems like it thus far. 1-2 on Abreu from Boyd. And it stays there. Jose ended July slugging .413. As the Crescent Moon overlooks the ballpark tonight.
By the way, after a 3-homer game for Brian Dozier, he led off the ball game tonight with his 39th home run.
Really?
Unbelievable.
He is now 4 home runs shy of Davey Johnson's single season second base record of 43 from 1973.
It's been pretty amazing. He had 13 home runs in August, and he looks like he's going to hit more in September.
You look at Davey's numbers, by the way, that was about a quarter of his career home runs he hit in 1 year. Dozier has been even more consistent power-wise.
Dozier's not playing in a home run park. Davey Johnson that year was playing in the launching pad, Fulton County Stadium. In fact, that was the year, I believe, they had 3 guys hitting 40 or more home runs in that lineup.
Well, I was looking at it earlier. He finished 13th in the MVP voting that year, and Hank Aaron was ahead of him. Rose won it. Two and two on Abreu. And another foul ball.
It's going to be the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Jose caught a break earlier. There was a curveball that had a good portion of the zone. Tom Hallion did not call it. And Todd Frazier waiting for his opportunity.
That ball is hammered deep into the night. It's 1-0.
He got the old rolling breaking ball, and now he has the team lead in runs batted in. The 23rd home run, 87th driven in on his assault on 100 to make it 3 years in a row with 100 runs batted in. Forward home run replay, a breaking ball that just didn't break. And so he took advantage of the break on the call earlier and hammered one way back in left field.
I mentioned the slugging percentage thing. I'll get to it in a moment. That's another generous donation, by the way, and Jose Abreu is breaking the bank. Generous donation from the Alex Nellius family in loving memory of Ursula. .413 was his slugging percentage to end July. It's up to .475 starting play today in a month and a week.
Well, he's certainly been a different player. He's a happier man. We certainly have to believe that it's getting an opportunity to spend a great deal of time with his son. It seemed to change everything for him. And the guy that we've seen over the last 5 weeks is the guy we saw for 2 years.
Saltalamacchia recovers, and there's out number 1.
Time now for the Lowe's home field advantage stat. since August 1st at U.S. Cellular Field, hitting .383, 6 home runs, 10 driven in, 11 scored, with 5 multi-hit games. Been wonderfully impressive.
His T-shirt day is coming up.
Yes, it is.
Upcoming Thursday at the end of this homestand, as Avi Garcia takes ball number 1. Abreu 439 feet on the home run. It left at 108 miles an hour.
Yeah, he might have got shorted a couple of feet. That was a blast.
You think so?
I thought it was farther than that.
You had 442 or so?
I like the exit velocity, though. When you can send them out of there like that and you get the proper launch angle, especially on a rolling curveball, they go out in a hurry.
26 degrees on the launch angle. Steve had his protractor out.
Yep. And against the Tigers this year, the former Tiger, Avi Garcia, has been good.
His eyes lit up at that breaking ball. 1-2.
Outfield straightaway, they're very deep all the way around. Upton and Maben are way back there in left and center.
That's a rocket to center field. Avi lights up a 1-out single in the second inning. There are these glimpses from Avi Garcia that we've seen off and on this year.
He gets very good at bats against most left-hand pitchers. And this particular at bat, no exception. Bring it right back up the middle. Left it to Jason Coates.
Well, we told you yesterday the Charlotte Knights lost to Gwinnett in their season finale, and the winner of that game would have made the International League playoffs. The one benefit for the players with the Knights is they do get a chance to come up a little bit earlier. That said, a bunch of them were quoted as saying, hey, we want to win a title. Might as well get there.
Wasn't a great year for them, but you're right. I mean, as long as you're there, I think everybody wants to go to the postseason. You can delay your trip to the major leagues, but here is Jason, who's been here before, and he's shown at times some pretty good power.
7 out of 37 in his young major league career. Iglesias to start a second double play of his night. Sox get a home run from Jose Abreu. First run tonight in a 1-0 lead.
Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
That's not the type of cold one you're talking about, but
On a night like tonight,
it's the smart one.
it is very thirst-quenching, as are fingers on occasion.
I don't think so, Steve. Jared Saltalamacchia leads it off against Miguel Gonzalez. There's ball number 1. So the Sox lead on the 1-0 score here in the third. The Abreu solo home run on a day when Jose was named the Sox nominee for the Roberto Clemente Award. With all of his philanthropic work he does in his native country of Cuba.
Saltalamacchia has got pretty big power, and Miguel has fallen behind.
On 2-0. There's a fly ball left field. Melky on the move, and it is foul. 2-1.
From a Tigers standpoint, they're in it. Sox are not. Having been on some teams that were in it late, we always felt that if we jumped on top of a team out of contention early, it's very much to the advantage of the contending team. At this point, Tigers have not been able to do that.
First base, Abreu guarding the line, makes the flip, 1 down. The idea being that if you get past a team early, maybe they'll fold it.
Yeah, it's not a conscious thing. It's just that maybe the at-bats for a team that's not going to get there are a little shorter. You're not quite as selective. But that's if you really get an early lead and then make it difficult. I think it's always the advantage of an early lead, but very much more so with a team that's in the race as opposed to a team that isn't.
And notably this year, we have not seen much of that from the Sox. Even when the standings have gotten away from them, there's been some fight in the late innings, which is a nice sign.
Yeah, it is that. We haven't seen any sign of the fact that they're going to lay down for anybody. And I think from the standpoint of the Sox, you want to play teams that are in contention, as most of the guys would dearly love to play a part in the postseason race by beating some teams who ostensibly feel that they're going to be there, especially after what happened in Detroit. It was just a terrible year for the Sox. 1 win in 9 contests. So the Tigers dominated their home park.
And again, if you flip 5 of those games and a couple of the games against the Royals and a couple of games against Cleveland, that's ifs and buts. But the 22-35 record in the Central stands out.
And that's only that good because of Minnesota, because it's 11-30 against the 3 teams ahead of the Sox, and you cannot even consider being in contention when you're sitting there 19 under against 3 teams you got to catch.
2-2. Check swing, it hit him, and Romine to first.
Tries to cut this ball inside, and I talked with Miguel about that. He said he was having trouble earlier in his career getting fastballs inside the left-hand hitters. So he started to cut the ball, making it a lot easier where you don't have to aim at the inside corner. You can aim at the inside third of the plate. And with enough of a little cut on it, you're going to throw it inside. That time he just cut it too far inside.
Third time Romine's been hit this year. He's on for Maben. A tip foul. He injured his thumb against the Sox. Then you have Kinsler, who's out at second base. He's dealing with a finger injury. It's a fingernail bleeding issue.
And that for them is a huge loss. We saw how devastating Ian Kinsler can be. He is the second most devastating leadoff hitter in baseball, behind Brian Dozier, who largely has been a leadoff hitter this year. Kinsler, 25 home runs, 72 driven in, 13 stolen bases.
We should give out an award for most devastating leadoff hitter. It could be like a pewter wrecking ball or something like that, with some speed.
I would think if you have that guy, you're going to make it awfully hard on pitchers. in that he's going to get on, especially if that leadoff hitter can run. Dozier can run. Kinsler can run. You factor in home runs and everything else they do, they're very valuable men to have around. Of course, the best ever, maybe the best ever, and there are people who will argue that point, but Rickey Henderson, for a leadoff hitter who can hit the ball out of the park, then disrupt the game with his speed on the base paths. If he wasn't the best ever, he was right up there with the best ever.
Who else would you put in that group?
For me, nobody.
Nobody?
No. Although Lou Brock was pretty good.
It's upstairs 2-1 on Maybin, who grounded out to third in the first inning. You don't think they should create a new award, though? There's been some talk of creating an award for the best relief pitcher that has more prestige because of a guy like Zach Britton, who's not likely to win the Cy Young.
Oh, but there is precedent for closers to win it.
Sure.
If Baltimore
Gagne.
doesn't get there. Yeah. Steve Bedrosian.
Right field and falling in front of Avi for a one-out single for Maybin. 2 on for the Tigers in this third inning. You ever wondered what it's like to work for a professional sports organization? Join us for Behind the Scenes with the Sox networking event Tuesday, September 13th at U.S. Cellular Field, brought to you by White Sox Charities Young Professionals Council. Tickets include a networking panel, a game ticket, as well as food and beverages. Visit whitesox.com/networking for more details.
And although Todd Frazier is back at third, Iglesias is a terrific bunny. And with Cabrera coming up next, he's conceding the base hit.
One laid inside by Gonzalez, ball 1. Strong contact hitter Iglesias. Went around 40 strikeouts for the year.
And he's ground into 12 double plays, so a ground ball here would be very welcome.
His strikeout percentage, Iglesias, is further down even this year from his earlier career numbers. In AAA, he was 13%, 12%. He's been 9.5% strikeouts last couple of years in the majors, which is a good sign. Two and 0. It's off the plate 3-0. You're not going to let him swing here, are you?
No, not with the man that is currently standing in the on-deck circle.
That is Miguel Cabrera. Called a strike. Iglesias started his trek toward first, and it abruptly came to an end.
Might have been a bit of a break.
Romine at second, Maybin at first. 3-1. Fouled away. He went back to nearly the same spot Gonzalez did. 3-2. You good with relievers, by the way, winning the Cy Young? We were just talking about that.
You have to have a year where you don't find any starter completely dominating in just about every category. ERA, strikeouts to walks, hits, innings pitched, and for the most part, dominating your year.
Floated to right. Avi was playing in, and he is there to load up and throw to first. Double play. Maybin straight away from first, and see you later.
It is one awful base running play, but a big play as the Sox get out. Maybin gets doubled. That is called, folks, a brain cramp.
play, top of the inning.
Take a look where Avi is set up. If Maben looked at him at all, he would realize he's not overly deep in right field, and he's over toward the line, which means that this one is going to be right at him, which it was. And Maben, I'm not sure where he was going because he was the trailer.
For sale or rent.
Yep. Doubled off with the big man standing there to lead off the next inning.
Some of the newer baseball scribes refer to that play with an acronym. It's Tootblan. As Omar drives one to right of center for out number 1. Tootblan stands for thrown out on the bases like a nincompoop.
Well, that would qualify. Something I'm pretty sure that Brad Ausmus is not a happy man about that particular occurrence.
You don't want to lead the league in Tootblan.
Nope.
Former Major League catcher Brad Ausmus.
His career lasted a long time.
He was something like a 47th round pick.
Went to Dartmouth.
The strike to Leury Garcia, who's up from AAA Charlotte, where he had a mighty fine year for the Knights. 4 triples, 18 stolen bases, just off the top 5 in the International League. Yeah, Ausmus, 47th round, 1987, by the Yankees. Made his debut with the Padres 6 years later.
He had 23 seasons of professional baseball. 23.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing. Got to the major leagues in 1993. San Diego, Detroit, Houston. Detroit, Houston for a long time before the Dodgers. And that's where it ended in 2010.
1-2 on Garcia.
It's a pretty good pitch.
That was a strike, and Boyd didn't get it. Two and 2 on the 25-year-old Garcia. There is strike 3 for Boyd. We've had so much action tonight, we didn't get you our picks to click. So give Steve an opportunity to cheat. He's decided on Avi, who is 1 for 1, not shockingly.
With a exquisite defensive play, which is always factored in.
You would just say it wasn't here. He was playing in the right place. Anyway, Anderson for the crew. Saladino to you, the fan. WhiteSox.com/pick to click. And I've got Leury Garcia. There's strike number 1 to Anderson. You and your shape-shifting picks to click analysis.
That one just missed down the line. Well, everything is factored in the picks to click. You get hit by a pitch, you can't hold that against the guy. A few walks, an exquisite defensive play, and an all-around nice guy.
0-2. There should be like a Steve Stone bucket for picks to click with your face on the side of it that gets changed out every game. 2 strikes on Anderson. Up high, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Tim. That'll do it. Boyd with strikeout number 4. It's a 1-2-3 inning. His first clean inning of the night. 1-0 Sox after 3. First correct answer wins a prize off the prize shelf. Take the number of combined home runs yesterday, multiply the number of hits Brad Ausmus had against the Sox in the 05 World Series, subtract the number of sides on home plate, and then add the number of Sox games remaining against the American League West. That is your Sox math question. First correct answer wins a prize off the prize shelf. We have loads of great things on the prize shelf today. And there is a high ball one to Miguel Cabrera. We have a signed photo.
We do.
Sox minor leaguer Eddie Alvarez.
We have a refrigerator magnet that you picked up across the pond, as it were.
That baseball, by the way, is a really special baseball. Not the Gene Honda ball, which is special. But that baseball is a new one. It's been signed by our entire television crew, and it's a gift for our producer, Mike Leary. However, if you do want the baseball and you win Sox math today, we're going to send it to you, and Mike doesn't get the ball. We're sentimental here. In the left center field, a base hit for Cabrera.
Better the base hit comes now than had he hit last inning before the double play. So Cabrera continues his red-hot Chicago. 4 hits yesterday and 1 today, and the ball that he hit to end the first inning might have been as hard as anyone he's hit in the series.
So Cabrera on, Victor up. Strikeout in the second inning on 6 pitches against Gonzalez. Part of back-to-back strikeouts. That one's feathery in for a strike.
Victor with bad wheels at this point. If he hits the ball on the ground, it's a guaranteed 2. Grounds into 13 double plays this year.
Trying to induce it with the splitter, ball and a strike.
That split change has really been good for Miguel. He's thrown it well. He spotted his cutter well. But good stop by Omar Narvaez, who's done just a strong job behind the plate and with the bat when he's gotten an opportunity to start.
Well, you talked about the double play as well with Victor Martinez. The shift is on for the Sox, so that thrusts the infielders into some different situations, turning too, right?
Well, yeah, but fortunately, you got Miguel Cabrera running, who's not fast. Anderson will have to cover if it's a ball hit to Frazier. Frazier will cover. It's a ball hit to Saladino.
Two one. Rope to left. Melky's on the case, and he can't get it.
He lost that ball in the lights. And it was a sinking line drive. And he was battling the lights all the way. It goes as a base hit. This is just a bad break. Because when a line drive does not get above the lights, it's a problem. Melky put out the glove, hoping it would be there. It wasn't.
Quite often you'll see when the ball gets lost in the lights, the hitter is credited with a hit rather than an error.
And Melky was doing the best job he could because he was turning away to try to get a better angle to see the ball, but not to be.
2 on, nobody out for J.D. Martinez. Came into the series hitting .526 against the Sox this year. He is so far in this series 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts.
He's only grounded into 12 double plays because he does have an uppercut swing, and more times than not, he'll hit the ball in the air.
Snapped in for a strike from Gonzalez, 1-1. That average has sunk to .476 the last couple of days.
He's really been struggling. In fact, in yesterday's ball game, he didn't hit the ball out of the infield.
Good count for him here, 2-1. Gonzalez, 2 strikeouts, no walks so far, and the hits have all been singles for the Tigers tonight.
We haven't heard of a specific pitch count that Miguel might have tonight. We know it's in the mind of both Robin and Don Cooper, but they haven't really said, okay, he's going to go 90 pitches and that's going to be it. Depends on how good he feels and how much pressure the Tigers are going to put on him, how many jams he's going to have to get out of.
Well, worth mentioning, too, the Sox 2 days ago used 7 relievers, 4 last night. So it's not the most rested bullpen as he busts Martinez to 2-2 inside and low.
Good late movement on that one as it bites down and in off the plate. I'm sure that JD saw the ball as a strike, but by the time it got to Narvaez, good sink took it out of the zone.
Two balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, 4th inning. JD Martinez, 8 home runs this month out of his 20 for the year. Tigers are piling up 20 home runs last month, I should say, since August began. We're in September now, aren't we?
We are. Yes, I can tell. The rent was due.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and down goes JD Martinez.
The Bears are finally back. Dan Jiggets and Chris Bowden get you ready for the season this week with Bears Huddle. Comes tomorrow. They'll be able to preview the Bears offense and then the Bears blitz on Thursday when they'll dissect the defense. Turn to CSN Chicago this season for the best Bears coverage in the city.
Farewell to Robbie Gould, longtime Chicago Bear. Connor Barth signed. 1 out, 2 on. Upton, the batter. You know, he's always been known as a streaky hitter. However, this last couple of weeks, 21 RBIs, last 14 games, including the game winner yesterday for Upton.
They had a big advantage because directly in front of him in just about every lineup he hits in, it's Cabrera, Victor Martinez, JD Martinez, and then him. So he's getting a whole lot of opportunities to drive him home, and he's been doing just that.
Two and 0. 61 pitches, 26 balls, 35 strikes for Gonzalez tonight.
And here's where Upton is squeezing the sawdust out of the bat. He's looking for a fastball, and normally doesn't mind if it's middle in, middle away, up or down. If he gets a fastball, he's going to be hacking.
2-0. Nice placement, called a strike. 2-1.
I think Upton thought it was inside. There was a case to be made. It was certainly close enough.
Cabrera at second, Martinez at first. 2-1. Down the line and foul from Upton. Pretty good pitch to hit there.
He was a cutter down right over the middle of the plate. Unfortunately, he fouled it off.
Leadoff single for Cabrera. Martinez followed with a base hit. One of them lost in the lights. 2-2. He got him again. Back-to-back strikeouts for Miguel Gonzalez.
That was a split change, and it came in and dove out of the zone. Good pitch. Upton well out in front. And only Casey McGee stands in the way of getting out of a very tough inning. 2 on, nobody out.
Strikeout number 155 for Upton this year. And McGee takes ball number 1. Might have crossed up Narvaez.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. Otherwise, Omar, in this situation with the pitcher rolling right along and a couple of big strikeouts, you wouldn't want to have a conference. So we'll watch it again. No, he was looking for something else. He was fortunate to be able to stab at the ball and make the catch.
And now Gonzalez toying around with the thought of what to throw on 1-0. Got a strike in the outside corner, 1-1.
Outfield and infield straight away.
Right-hander born in Mexico, Miguel Gonzalez. 2 out in the 4th. In the air, right field. Garcia to complete the Tigers' half of the inning. Back-to-back singles, no harm done. 1-0 Sox. Was 4. Brad Ausmus was 4 for 16 against the Sox in the 05 World Series. That's 4 times 4 is 16. -5. Home plate is a pentagon. 11 plus 0. No games remaining against the American League West. 11 your answer, and the Sox guy is the winner tonight. Congratulations. You're the defending champ for tomorrow's 1:10 start against the Tigers.
And a choice of plenty off the prize show.
Plenty of wonderful things, as you said. I mean, we have Sox socks. We have Mike Leary's baseball that we're trying to give away before he can get his mitts on it.
We have Southpaw glasses that I think have been here since the 40s.
The 1840s. Well, the Sox guys won a couple times. Maybe we should just send him the Southpaw glasses and don't give him the choice. Well, he has the choice, but we could send him whatever we'd like. Strike 1 to Saladino from Boyd. Ground ball foul. Matt Boyd, who is a distant relative of Bob Feller. Bob Feller was Matt Boyd's great-grandmother's cousin.
Oh, how about 6 degrees of Bob Feller?
Our newest one-night-only parlor game.
He was a manager in Sandlot Ball in Cleveland that my team and I played against.
Really?
Yes.
This was after the war.
He was a great pitcher. Manager,
Ground ball through. Saladino's on with a leadoff single. Third time in 4 innings the Sox have the leadoff man on.
Tyler hit the ball very well, and the double play grounded into in the first inning, and this time he reached up and away on a changeup. That's why pitchers, even in the same location, want to keep that changeup down. It's a little easier to adjust when it's up in your eyes.
So Saladino is on. And Cabrera, the batter, to throw to first. By the way, we were talking about the genealogy of Matt Boyd. We have a note from Tyler Saladino's grand aunt, Sally. She's written in to clear up.
Well, that certainly clears it up. I read the note, and I got to tell you something. It really clears it up.
It's a ground ball to shortstop. Iglesias on the flip, and the turn is high. The tag is there on the shoulder, says Dan Bellino, and it's a double play. So we were talking about, well, you see the replay of the double play first.
It's going to be a pretty easy double play, but Romine does not make a good throw. And Cabrera has to come off. Cabrera to Cabrera. Dan Bellino said he got him on the shoulder.
So Tyler's great-grandfather is Japanese. His paternal grandmother is Japanese. His paternal grandfather is from the Philippines. His grandfather's father and mother were born in the Philippines. And that's who was on the cover of National Geographic. So that's a great-grandmother of Saladino, who was on the cover of National Geographic.
That certainly clears it up.
We'll do the Stone family tree coming up in the 5th. Line drive right field. Abreu's 2 for 2.
Jose is doing everything he can, and the way he's swinging it looks like he's going to get there. He wants to hit 300. He wants to drive in 100. He's 13 away at 87, and he's getting closer to 300, seemingly with every at bat, as he inside outs his ball into right field and keeps the inning alive. There have been, however, a multitude of double plays.
Can't turn one here, Steve.
No, he can't, but they already have one, so that's 3 of them in the early going.
That's sky high. Iglesias waits for gravity to take hold and finishes the inning. 2 hits, no runs, 1-0 Sox after 4. Watching on New Windsor Cable in New Windsor, Illinois. Out west there, you can use the hashtag SoxPopuli. Tell us where you're watching the game, and we'll put you on the map. You ever been on the map, Steve Stone?
Well, you could put that little arrow or pointy device.
Yeah, it's an
Is
arrow.
that the technical term, the pointy
yeah.
device? You can put that right here at U.S. Cellular Field.
Turns Saltalamacchia around 1-1. The Tigers catcher. 1-0 Sox on the home run from Jose Abreu and a lengthy at bat to lead off the home second.
Good change. And Miguel is getting a lot of mileage out of that tonight. This one just drifts away out of the zone. Saltalamacchia well out ahead and could not check his swing.
One and two. On the ground, Abreu snares it, twirls at number one. Neat play.
We're going to take a look at Jose Abreu and see how he approached this and why he made a good play. A lot of overspin on this ball. And Jose got down so that for him, his angle was eye high. Made a good throw after a very good catch, and you get down. With a catcher running, you can roll around for a bit and still have plenty of time to get him.
Romine lifts it to center. 2 away. By the way, thanks to Wayne McMillan for tweeting in using the hashtag SoxPopuli. He just didn't tell us where he's watching from. That's one of the prereqs. Hit the beach on December 3rd with Ron Kittle, Harold Baines, Jose Quintana, and Tyler Saladino. Travel to Iberostar Playa Mita in Riviera Nayarit, Mexico. For a week of fun activities and VIP events, visit applevacations.com/White Sox to book.
I'm so happy that you read that one because I tried on the road trip any number of times. And if I got a couple of words right, I got most of them wrong.
It's pronounced Total.
I remember that. That's the only thing I do remember.
Ball and a strike on Maven, who's 1 for 2 tonight.
In the meantime, for his first start back in a long time, Miguel Gonzalez is throwing it very well, changing speeds, locations, and he's completely handcuffed the Tigers to this point.
Popped up. Anderson, the call on the ball for out number 3, 6 in a row. Subdued by Gonzalez, halfway home, Sox by a run. 1-0 Sox with the lead. Home fifth coming your way. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone, our entire crew tonight. Thanks for joining us wherever you make your home this evening. Whether you're watching on the MLB.TV app, whether you're watching on your computer screen, your tablet, via your microwave.
Or perhaps your television.
Or perhaps the TV.
That's about as high-tech as I get with that stuff.
Oh, you're very good with the smartphone. You're just sandbagging. Ball one to Avi. By the way, Dansby Swanson tonight. First major league home run inside the park. Home run. The Vanderbilt shortstop, former Carson Fulmer teammate. This is to right field, and J.D. Martinez for the first out of the home fifth. First 20,000 fans at each game receive a Merck's Cheese Spread game card. Good for savings on delicious Merck's cheese in the deli or dairy case at your local grocer. Watching the White Sox and saving on Merck's cheese. Some fans have all the luck. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
For those of you who don't know who Dansby Swanson is,
he's the heir to the frozen food.
He might definitely be, but that's not it. He was traded from the Diamondbacks, or he was their #1 pick. He was traded to Atlanta in a deal that sent Shelby Miller to the Diamondbacks. That one's not going to work out real well for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, Dansby Swanson's a talented kid.
So is Enciarte, who won that same deal.
That ball's roped to left by Jason Coates all the way to the wall, and he turns it on, heading for second easily with a one-out double.
Boyd has gotten in a bit of trouble, and he's gotten there because of that curveball. It has not been real good tonight. Jason Coates just waits back, takes it all the way to the wall, and no chance at all for Upton.
After a rough start to his major league career with the collision and some at-bats that he even admitted that he was nervous, and he finally settled in a couple weeks into his first stint, Jason Coates has really hit the ball well in recent games that he's played here. This now his return after a brief stint back at Charlotte.
Well, all the reports on Jason Coates say that he can hit. And all he has to do is be given the opportunity and a chance. I don't think he ever lost the confidence that he could hit here. But getting the opportunity is another story.
That one gets away slightly from Saltalamacchia, but not far enough for Coates to decide to go.
I think it's pretty difficult to figure out how far that ball is going to get by the catcher. When you're looking in from second base, you got the catcher and the umpire, and you just don't know. In fact, this one hit off Tom Hallion. So it's not that it was a bad base running play. It's just that he couldn't identify how far the baseball got by. And that was one Saltalamacchia should have caught, but didn't.
Omar drops it in. Coates around third. Narvaez the RBI. It's 2-0 Sox. This kid just keeps on going, doesn't he?
With every passing game, Omar Narvaez looks better and better. So he takes that fastball, drops it into right center field. And the interesting thing is that being a switch hitter, he hit from the left side against the left-hander. Of course, he has no at-bats as a right-hand hitter this year.
Ground ball foul from Leury Garcia. Omar Narvaez, 18 for 53 in his Sox career, 11 walks, 8 strikeouts. That is rare for a guy who hadn't before this season played above advanced A ball, to have that sort of plate discipline is unique.
Well, you see it all the time in this game, and that is there's an injury. A young guy who is not slated to be here gets the advantage of coming up. And then once you get your opportunity, it's up to you to make the most of it. And Omar certainly has done that. So the injury to Alex Avila left some room on this roster, and Omar came up. And everything he's done since then has shown that he's got to be in the mix for next year.
Two and two on Garcia. Well, the Sox liked Omar Narvaez enough to part ways with Deanna Navarro.
Yep.
That's a signal, certainly. 2-2. Down the line, right side, and foul. .313 in Charlotte for Garcia. .367, .426 to finish out the slash line.
And he's a middle infielder by trade who can play any outfield position and give you very good speed on the base paths.
Two. On the ground, could be two. Romine, Iglesias, Leori can fly, and that ball is errant, to say the least.
Well, Cabrera is saying that it should be interference, but I don't think so. They're going to talk it over, and the question will be, did Narvaez intentionally interfere with this? Where was the slide? We'll take a look at it.
Does he keep his slide path? Yeah, it hit him in the hand. That's going to be...
I think that it's going to be just exactly what it is. Force at second.
You don't think they'll give him the out at first on that?
I don't think so.
You know, in order for you to have, we saw it in Baltimore much earlier this year on the slide rule. Brett Lawrie had a play. He was pivoting at second base, but there was no play, honestly, at first. You could not have had the out. So the umpires went to the replay and ruled that the slide rule was not in effect because there was no play at first. In this case, you'd be hard-pressed to believe that Leori Garcia could have been out at first.
I have no doubt he wouldn't have been out at first, and as long as you slide to the bag, you can put your hands up. It's up to the pivot man to throw either around you or over your head. Now, if he throws over the top instead of that sidearm throw, he would have a shot. And that's what Tom Hallion is explaining to Brad Ausmus. So, it's not going to be a double play. We'll watch it again. Looks like it's going to be two. Leary very fast.
The idea of the rule is to give you an out that you should have had. That's not an out the Tigers would have had.
Even if they could have had it, it would behoove the pivot man to actually not throw from the side, throw over the top of a sliding base runner. And Gene Lamont is saying there's no reason to review this. And it took a while for the explanation to Brad Ausmus, but that's the correct call.
It is reviewable. They will decline to use their challenge here. You only get one. And so runner at first, two down. Garcia can fly. And we'll see if the Sox have anything on.
Usually when you do go against a left-hander, you decide to run on first move. And if you're picked off, you're picked off.
Off speed, strike one to Anderson. Tim 1 for 2. Now a hit in 25 of his last 28 games. Not a bad move to first by Boyd. Not going to get you a
No,
pickoff.
to me, I don't think that is going to be all that deceptive. So again, if you do go, you're going to run on first move and hope that he's coming home with it.
Oh boy.
He got a fastball and knocked that shoulder protector right off of Jared Saltalamacchia.
He's going to go without it,
Yep.
at least for the time being. Pretty soon he's going to end up like the knight in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Off goes one shoulder pad, and off goes another shoulder pad, and he says, come on, I can still play the position.
Can that. That was a wonderful movie. I love the plot.
It's a ball low. I can see you being the guy who defends the bridge, right, and asks the question to make sure you can pass. What is your favorite color?
Eh, I think it's way too much work.
Heavy lifting, that troll job. 2-2. Popped foul. Anderson stays alive. He's 23 years old, Tim Anderson. Not a lot in the way of scholarship offers. Coming out of high school. Ended up going to community college. 2-2. Another foul ball. It's a hot one here.
It certainly is. It was 91 when the game started. It has dropped furiously to 89.
You can feel it.
It's palpable.
It's a dry heat.
But tonight.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Sox get a run. Narvaez drives in Coates. 2-0 after 5.
by T-Mobile. We'll take a look around baseball. Rougned Odor named the AL Player of the Week. Look at those numbers. Pretty impressive. The Dodgers hit 5 home runs off Zach Greinke last night, most allowed in his career, and Adam Wainwright did it with his bat. 2 for 3 with 3 driven in against the Pirates.
That's what you call helping yourself by Waino.
He did that, and a very impressive pitching line for Miguel Gonzalez. No walks, no runs, 4 hits.
Ball 1. A lot of the news today, Steve, about talking about pitchers and helping themselves, about what happened with Matt Shoemaker and Jameson Taillon earlier this year, and pitchers being hit by line drives, and how to defend against that, what baseball should do. What do you think about everything that people are talking about?
There's a couple of things that will make pitchers much more vulnerable these days than maybe ever before. One, the maple bats. So the ball's coming off the bat with a little more velocity. 2, you're having a lot of guys not worried about following through and squaring off and looking at the plate, meaning they're going to fall off to the first base side if you're a right-hander, third base if you're a left-hander.
Right center field, Garcia's, and it's Leury for out number 1.
So if you fall off definitively after a pitch, it's going to be very difficult for you to protect yourself, especially when a line drive will come at you and it's to the throwing hand side, not the glove hand side. That's why we're seeing more pitchers hitting the head. And also, I always got a kick out of the fact that they called the third base area the hot corner. Not that the ball doesn't come back to you all that quickly, because it does at third, but there are times when you're playing 110 feet away. If
60.
you're playing even with the bag, you're playing 90 feet away, but when you deliver the baseball, you're 55 feet away. That's a lot hotter than the hot corner.
That ball's hit well by Cabrera, right center field, but it does not carry out. 2 down in the 6th. Nearly number 440 for Miggy.
Miggy was left talking to himself. This is a cutter. It was a good thing it was not a fastball, because it moved to the end of the bat, and as strong as he is, he rode it all the way back to the track, but not on the sweet spot.
So 2 down for Victor Martinez. Bryce Flory, the former relief pitcher in the majors, pitched with the Red Sox, came out today and said, look, I think with all the new technology, pitchers should look into wearing protective headgear on the mound.
There are some guys who actually do that. It's a little unusual and not going to help you if you catch one in the lips. You really have to be able to defend yourself, and a lot of guys are completely unable to do that because of that follow-through.
There's Omar Vizquel, and the helmets for base coaches started to happen after the death of Mike Coolbaugh.
Yeah.
And, you know, sad as it is to say, sometimes it takes a tragic event like that to get a sweeping change.
Well, they've worked with pretty much liners, liner inside the cap, as opposed to the helmets that are worn by the hitters or the guys on the base paths, as well as the coaches. Pitcher's not going to be able to pitch with that.
High fly ball in Melky's direction. And Miguel Gonzalez has gotten rid of 9 straight Tigers after back-to-back hits in the 4th. 2-0. with his son Camden, his daughter Emerson, going out to the mound to throw out the first pitch, and it got there. Nice work, Mikey.
It did get there. Well, fortunately, he doesn't have to leave his day job because this ball is just a touch wide. Carlos Rodon making the catch. Mike, of course, has to tell the kids, come on. They actually were really embarrassed by their dad making that effort, and it wasn't in the strike zone. I believe that's why they didn't rush to him after the pitch.
Not pictured Mike's wife, Nicole, turning away as the pitch sailed out of the strike zone. She was actually proud of him for getting it there.
He kept it in the air, which at the end of the day is useful.
For those of you at home who may not know what the producer does for our telecast, he is basically the guy in charge of everything going on in the truck. He stacks the show. He tells us what graphics are coming up. He tells us what video is on the way. And we are losing a gem in Mike Leary. He's moving to Texas to do some hockey, among other things. And I tell you what, the day that I got hired, the day it came out that I was going to be sitting in this chair this year, I got a phone call from Mike Leary as it's 2-2 on Saladino, and we talked for maybe an hour 15 that night. He was off on a hockey road trip, and I hung up the phone, and I was ready to go. He's one of the most curious, creative people that you could ever want to work with, and just about everything we throw his way, he says, yeah, let's try it. Let's see what happens. And that's a wonderful thing. But the amount of respect this crew and the amount of love this crew has for Mike Leary is truly a remarkable thing to behold. As Saladino pops it up, Cabrera at first for out number one, and everybody here, it feels like, is losing a family member today. And we thank Mike for everything he's done, and he's meant a lot to me in my first year, and I know he's meant a lot to so many people on this crew who create this television program every night who don't have microphones in front of them to say what they want to say as well.
Over the course of my career, I've had a lot of producers in all different places for all different television shows, and Mike is one of them. No, actually, he's one of the best that I've ever had, and I'm sure, regardless of where his travels take him and how many shows he does, he will be one of the best around. Now, I know Pat Foley and Eddie Olczyk also feel the same way that we do, because they're not going to have him on the Hawks because he's going down to do the Stars in Dallas. And for them, I know it's a big loss, same way as it is for us. So we wish him certainly well. Got a great family.
Yeah.
They're going to love it down there. And remember, it's a dry heat.
You got so sentimental there that you nearly got hit by that foul ball. There's a family, brother-in-law, wife, 2 kids. Hi there. Hi, Emerson. Camden doesn't like the camera. There's Nicole, enjoying a smoothie, it seems. I want to show the folks at home something when we get a chance. This is the baseball we were telling you about, right? And you see, I don't know if you can see, there are all these signatures on the ball. Good luck, Mike, from Frankie. All the best. These are all people on our crew that signed this for Mike. And it was not hard to get them to do that. It's a base hit for Melky Cabrera, a 1-out single. And so we say a fond farewell to Mike Leary. And not often does a scrawl on a baseball mean so much, but this is what our producer Mike means to everybody around here.
And so you thought so much of this that you put it on the prize shelf and allowed someone else to win it. Well, hopefully they won't, and Mike will be able to put it on his mantle. Does he have a mantle, you think, in the next house?
I don't know that they have a house yet. A nightstand, he says.
It's a mere technicality.
That's got to be an uncomfortable feeling, by the way. People are talking about your new house and you're sitting in the truck. You have to listen to it and you can't chime in. Although he probably can turn on his microphone. Strike one to Abreu. Cabrera at first. And 0-2 on Jose, who's 2 for 2. Left field, Upton. 2 down.
That home run leading off the second was the first White Sox run. And with that, eClick Lending has donated $100 to the Pat Tillman Foundation, supporting military veterans and their families.
We asked you to use the hashtag SoxPopuli, and you did. Mike Lee is out in Denver. He watched the home run hit a mile high in the Mile High City. Hi, Mike. Hope you're enjoying Lodo or wherever you live in the Denver area.
It's a nice spot.
Beautiful weather there.
On
Except
occasion,
for when it
yes.
snows.
Yeah.
Frazier takes outside.
Matt Boyd this time out against our Sox lineup. A little bit better than he was last time out in Detroit, where he lasted just 4 innings.
Trying to make it through 6 tonight.
With 94 pitches already thrown, Farmer and Hardy. Hardy the left-hander, Farmer the right-hander.
Frazier swings and misses, and Boyd is through 6, but the Sox have him for 2 runs. It's a 2-0 lead.
In WWE history. Now, Chicago-made CM Punk is ready for his highly anticipated UFC debut on September 10th. CSN Chicago's Luke Stuckmeyer takes us behind the scenes where Punk has been working out from the ring to the octagon. Tune in to Sportsnet Central tonight at 10:30 for the story.
Miguel Gonzalez, 9 straight taken down since the Victor Martinez single in the lights of the 4th inning. The Tigers had back-to-back hits. And after that, couple of strikeouts and then some balls in play for outs. And Gonzalez, 84 pitches deep, starts the 7th with a base hit.
Well, Sox bullpen up and going, and they were going before that base hit. So in a 2-0 game, we're not going to let Miguel get himself too deeply in trouble, as this was a change. And for one of the few times, he got it up, and JD took it right back up the middle.
Tying run at the plate, Justin Upton. He was 2 for 3 career against Gonzalez in very short action so far. Big anniversary for the Sox today. Back in 1905, Frank Smith no-hit the Tigers 15-0. The biggest no-hit difference in AL history.
That's a lot of run support.
It's the anti-Q.
Only needed a couple of them.
You know what Frank Smith's nickname was?
No hit Frank.
They called him the piano mover.
Sure, that's exactly what he did after making $200 for the season.
Got to do something to make a living. That's in the air and foul. 1-2 for Upton. He got the nickname because he used to go up to teammates and just say to them, you know, I can pick up a piano, a baby grand, and take it up the stairs 4 flights without a rest. What an odd thing to tell people. Hey, I can pick up this piano.
Maybe he was looking for a bet.
1-2 on Upton. He wanted to get more of it. He didn't. Garcia for out number 1.
Miguel has been very good against an extremely talented lineup. Some fastballs up, some sliders away, and that changeup has been ever present and usually around the zone.
He will face Casey McGee with 1 out, 1 on in the 7th inning. How long do you let him go here?
Right now he's at 90 pitches and still seemingly throwing the ball well. So you're certainly keeping a close eye on him, but right now the stuff looks pretty decent.
Line to left. McGee a base hit, 2 on, 1 out for the Tigers.
Now you're thinking about Saltalamacchia, who is a much more powerful hitter from the left side than the right. And Don Cooper wants to know if Jennings is ready to go. I would think that he would be, and with the affirmative answer, that is going to be it. So he's going to leave the tying runs on. It was a terrific performance. He gave Robin exactly what he wanted. So Dan Jennings ready to come into this with 2 on, 1 out. And as Miguel leaves, we'll step out. Be back after these messages.
Southside Irish Heritage. First 20,000 fans aged 21 and over will receive a St. Patrick's Day themed cap presented by Miller Lite. To purchase the specially priced ticket package, visit whitesox.com/SPD. That's SPD for St. Patrick's Day.
Our Hyundai call to the pen, and it is Dan Jennings, who's had a very good year. On for the 55th time. ERA 182, a 4-3 record. Throws a lot of strikes. He's allowed only one home run. And Ibar is taken over at first base, representing the tying run. Saltalamacchia will turn around and hit from the right side, where he'll be a step slower.
Yeah, he slugs 100 points worse for his career, as you alluded to, from that side.
Amazingly enough, in well over 200 at-bats, he's only grounded into one double play. And that did come from the right side.
Inside from Jennings, 2-0. So 6 1/3 for Gonzalez, 6 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts. The runs yet to be determined. His 2 runners on base.
That's 3-0, even though that one had a good portion of the plate, and Nate Jones getting ready to go. We saw Nate yesterday. Oh, what an overwhelming inning. He threw the 9th inning. 3 strikeouts, all swinging. And that slider was absolutely untouchable.
Three and 0 on Saltalamacchia. And that is ball 4. The silver lining here is that Romine has been a better hitter from the other side as well. Just 188 against lefties this year. We'll see if he is even allowed to hit.
Well, Don Cooper is coming out. He wants a word with Jennings. Justin Wilson loosening in the pen. So it looks like it's going to be Jacoby Jones coming on to pinch hit. We saw Jones yesterday.
He did not have a hit. Struck out a couple of times. He was 0 for 3.
We saw his debut in Detroit. He had 3 doubles in 2 games. Parents in the stands. It was a very exciting moment for him. And he actually contributed in a big way to 2 of the 3 Tiger wins.
Now, do you let Jennings face Jones, or do you go with Nate Jones? Your answer.
I think right now you got to let Jennings face him, because you don't want Nate to go too deep into this one, and you still are only in the 7th. So for Jones, who plays all the time, coming up through the minor leagues, he played all the time. Now he's being asked to come off the bench for a pinch hitter for the first time. Not an easy task.
With AAA Toledo, Jones had 1 home run and 214 at-bats against right-handers. 2 home runs in 78 at-bats against left-handers. The average was 35 points better against lefties. To your point, you may need Nate Jones later on in this game to get you the 8th. Ball 1.
Jennings having some problems finding the plate. That's 5 straight bad ones. despite the fact that there weren't a lot of home runs hit in the minor leagues by Jacoby Jones, he eventually is going to be a home run hitter. He's very strong. Now he's a line drive hitter. When he starts figuring it out, he will hit the ball out of the park.
1-0. Outside, 6 straight. It's a tough spot for Robin Ventura. Bases loaded. If you use Nate Jones here, then you at least may not be able to have him against the big guns in the order or for the 8th inning, one of the two.
He's going to be here to face Maybin.
2-1.
He got that fastball that he was looking for right down the middle, but Dan threw it by him. It was there, hittable spot, a little higher than he would like.
So you think Nate Jones against Maybin no matter what?
I would think so. Unless you get that elusive double play ground ball.
Let's see. 2-1. He got a swinging strike, 2.
Both of those high fastballs, both with plenty of the plate. Contact with neither of them.
Two and 2 from Jennings. He struck him out.
And here comes Robin, and this is going to be the last one that Jennings is going to throw. It's a fastball away. He came back from a 2-0 count with 3 swinging strikes. So that's going to be it. Nate Jones comes into the game, and we'll step out and be back. Checking an official White Sox MasterCard debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC. Our Hyundai call to the pen is the man who was brilliant in yesterday's game. Nate Jones on for the 66th time. 75 strikeouts and 64 1/3. And he'll be looking in with the bases loaded, no margin for error to Cameron Maybin.
Trying to protect the shutout, Nate Jones to Maybin. very close, ball one. That's a strike. Nice correction from Nate.
And the three guys he struck out yesterday, J.D. Martinez, then Upton, and Saltalamacchia. 1, 2, 3 in the ninth inning.
Beautiful. 1 and 2.
Almost three identical pitches on the outside corner with a whole lot on them. If you believe you can keep that slider out of the dirt, nice time for it.
1 and 2 to Maybin. Check swing. He went around. Strike 3. Nate Jones secures the lead. 2-0 at stretch time.
How the inning ended. After fastballs on the outside corner, he went to the slider. Maybin couldn't check it up. The appeal to Dan Bellino, he said he went too far. And a huge out. Nate gets out of it. Miguel Gonzalez goes 6 1/3, no runs on 6 hits. Jacoby Jones, who came out a pinch hit at third base, and Eric Ibar stays in the game after pinch running. He's at second.
And here come the Sox trying to build on a 2-0 lead against left-hander Matt Boyd. It's Avi Garcia, Jason Coates, and Omar Narvaez scheduled up. Sox trying to even the series after an 11-inning loss yesterday. Ball 1 to Garcia. Longest outing of the year in the majors for Boyd is one 7-inning game. That was back on the 13th of August in Texas. That was a 7-inning, 2-hit shutout.
They're trying to do it with 3 rookies in their starting rotation, which is somewhat unbelievable, especially because all of them were acquired at the trade deadline last year. So Norris, Boyd have done very well. But Michael Fulmer has been just unbelievable at 10-6. His ERA, 2.77 in 22 starts.
And Boyd recently has put up similar numbers. Last 9 starts, 3 earned runs or fewer, trying to keep that here as that ball smoked, and Iglesias plucks it for out number 1.
Could hardly have been much harder, but you're hitting it to the wrong guy. Iglesias with very good hands. This one looked like it's ticketed up the middle, but Iglesias has other ideas, and it's easy after that.
Avi's no fun for infielders. With the way the ball leaves his bat and his high ground ball percentage, you got to be really alert.
And another factor is that he runs real hard to first base all the time.
Coach to Martinez, 2 away in the Sox 7th. Told you the Tigers came in as the second wild card leader, at least in a tie for that spot. Elsewhere around Major League Baseball today, in that wild card hunt, Baltimore has won 11-2 at the Rays. The Red Sox are just underway in San Diego. Kansas City tied at 3 with Minnesota in the 7th at Target Field, and the Yankees are leading the Blue Jays 7-5 in the 9th.
Corey Kluber, who is certainly a candidate for the Cy Young Award, got derailed by Houston in Cleveland. Houston beat Cleveland 4-3. One of the most amazing stories is a former White Sox pitcher by the name of Bartolo Colon, who, despite being 43, is still winning games and dominating teams for the New York Mets, who won their ball game tonight.
They have bypassed the Fish in the National League East.
And Bartolo said he wants to pitch at least one more year, and he'd like to have it be with the Mets. And why not? Getting everybody out.
4-pitch walk for Omar. And here comes Leury Garcia. We remind you to join us for a children-only pregame autograph session Sunday, September 11th. Fans that purchase this special ticket pack can participate in an exclusive autograph session with select members of the White Sox. To purchase these special ticket packs, please visit whitesox.com/autographs. Bartolo Colon was a White Sox player, our departing producer's first year, 2003.
Pretty amazing, his longevity. He occasionally takes the year off to regroup, then comes back and gets people out still.
Mike or Bartolo?
Possibly both. Well, I don't think Mike's taking a year off anytime soon.
Here's Garcia with Narvaez at first. And Boyd lost the handle on that one, ball 1.
Pitch number 106 on the way. And the question is, if Leury does get on, I assume you're going to have to go to the bullpen if you're Brad Ausmus. Already trailing by a pair. Hasn't been in a whole lot of trouble. 20 in the second, 21 in the fifth, 19 in the sixth. So the third and fourth were particularly efficient.
Most of those 20 in the second inning came on the Abreu home run. It was a 9-pitch at bat. Pumped in for a strike, 2-1 on Garcia. To third, Jacoby Jones spears it. Round number 3. Narvaez stranded. Sox still lead 2-0 to the 8th. We go.
schedule. The Tigers are here for one more, that a day game tomorrow. Then Thursday off, and Kansas City comes to town Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Homestand will continue with the Indians coming in for 4. PNC Bank upcoming schedule.
That's Anibal Sanchez against Jose Quintana tomorrow.
And here, a 2-0 game. Nate Jones in. Going to face the heart of the order here in the 8th.
Nate this season has mostly gone 1 inning, but he does have 3 2-inning outings, 2 1 2/3. He's bidding for 1 1/3 to close the 8th tonight.
For all practical purposes, because of the way the lineup falls, this is probably a little more difficult in a save situation than it will be in the 9th inning.
Right field, Avi for out number 1.
Well positioned. He was over toward the line and shallow in right. And Iglesias was kind enough to hit it right at him. And there is David Robertson. He will come on to pitch the 9th. Or if Nate has any problems, it's the only reason to start him throwing now. We saw him for an inning yesterday, and he was pretty tough. 1-2-3 with a strikeout. That was in the 10th inning.
On the ground, Abreu handles it well and decides that Nate did such a great job covering, he'd flip it to him.
Jose's had a good night. He's had some tough plays at first base tonight. This being just the latest of the tough plays. This ball hit hard, takes a high hop. Jose stays with it. And the rest is easy. So quickly, 2 up and 2 down. And with nobody on, the best way to face Victor Martinez.
There's a little Matumbo for Miguel Cabrera. A little finger wag for him. Yeah, Victor can't tie the game here.
Nope. Nate is rushing it up there tonight.
Pretty efficient, too. 8 pitches for 3 outs and a strike deep on Martinez. Victor just 3 for his last 27. 0-2, that one at 98.
Well, if he is indeed able to pull the ball, and it would appear that he would be able to pull a slider, not necessarily a fastball away, Tyler Saladino is way out there in right field.
Here's the slider, 1-2. "37-year-old designated hitter for the Tigers, Victor Martinez, trying to keep his team afloat tonight." Miguel Gonzalez, 6 1/3 shutout ball, and Nate Jones wipes away Martinez. Another wonderful outing for Nate Jones. It's 2-0 after 7½. Sox with the lead. And we go to the 8th inning. The Tigers in the bullpen for the first time in the bottom of the 8th.
Buck Farmer comes in the ball game. He's on for the 11th time. His ERA a touch under 4. 15 strikeouts in 16 innings. That's good. The 9 walks in 16 innings, not particularly good. And the Sox looking for a little insurance with the top of the order.
That's Tim Anderson today, with Adam Eaton getting just his 2nd day off of the season. His son was born the first homestand of the year. Eaton took a day off, got back in the lineup, and has played since. A day off today. Two and one from Buck Farmer, the pride of Conyers, Georgia.
Nice outing by Matt Boyd. 7 innings, just 2 runs on 8 hits. Didn't walk anybody and fanned 6. So I'm sure that Brad Austin was very happy with the performance after running through a good portion of his bullpen in the ball game yesterday.
11-inning game. Tigers got the win in the series opener. They will bring up the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in the 9th inning, starting with J.D. Martinez. 3-2. Outside, Tim Anderson draws his 8th walk of the year.
But we haven't seen it yet, the testing of Saltalamacchia, but this seems to be an ideal time. Anderson with 7 stolen bases in 9 attempts.
Saladino. Nobody out. And a throw to first.
When you've never seen a pitcher's move, what experienced base runners will do is they'll get what's called a one-way lead. They'll get out farther than they normally would, trying to induce the pitcher to show him his best move. But on the one-way lead, you're only thinking going back to the bag. So any movement at all by the pitcher, you're going back to first. And then again, you want to see the best move that he has, and that's the purpose of the one-way lead.
Anderson runs. Saladino takes a ball in the dirt and no chance. Stolen base for Anderson.
Even if Saltalamacchia comes up with this, there's going to be no chance at second. Stolen base number 8. It's a breaking ball in the dirt. Saltalamacchia does everything he can do, but no control of this. Anderson, next season, he's going to steal a whole lot of bases.
And Saltalamacchia will go out to speak to Mr. Farmer.
Just to make sure they have a pretty good idea about what he's going to call so he doesn't cross him up with Anderson at second. Jones believes that Saladino is going to bunt.
We shall see. Yep. Now with 2 strikes, do you leave it on?
No.
You wouldn't think so.
Now he's taking a long look down at Joe McEwing. But I assume he's swinging away.
He is. Anderson thought about it, thinks about it, and stays at second base. So, runner at second, one out for Melky. Single to left last time for Cabrera. Anderson started quickly toward third, then slammed on the brakes, maybe trying to draw the attention of Farmer.
He's trying to see if he can get any kind of lead. Stealing third with only one out. That's a good play if you believe you're going to make it, but Iglesias now paying a little more attention to him.
That helps your batter, you would imagine.
Well, it's going to help your batter because you're going to have to bring the infield in at all four positions, and that's always a great situation to hit in.
Saltalamacchia and Farmer have not spent much time away from each other since Farmer has been in. Leadoff walk, stolen base combo for Anderson. Left field side and foul, 2-1.
That one batted around a bit before it finally settled into some fan's hand. Tim better be careful because this is an ideal time for Iglesias to go to the bag.
Up high, 3-1 on Melky. Sox will play again against Tigers 1:10 tomorrow. Jose Abreu trying to help the Sox to a little more of a cushion in the 8th. That's outside, ball 4.
So tomorrow, Anibal Sanchez, who's had a tough year, against Jose Quintana, who's had a great year. Opponents hitting .284 against Sanchez, .239 against Q. So we told you about the control problems of Farmer. They have surfaced here again in the 8th.
He'll face Abreu, whose home run gave the Sox the lead, at least for now, for good. That sails inside, ball 1.
May have been playing a couple of steps to the right of center, the big gap in left center field. Upton well off the line and very deep in left.
That's a strike, 1-1 on Abreu. Sox got a run in the 2nd on his home run. Then in the 5th, tacked one more on. Omar Narvaez, an RBI single, scoring Jason Coates. Sox hoping to even the series. Ball and 2 strikes.
This time Ibar is the man charged with holding Anderson close at second. Iglesias straightaway shortstop.
Very close. 2-2. It's a pretty good pitch on 1 and 2.
Yeah, that one kind of flip a coin, and Jose got the real good call.
Five walks last 2 outings for Farmer. 2 this inning. 2-2. Inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. What do you decide on here to Abreu, one of the hottest hitters in baseball?
Probably going to throw a fastball.
He does, and Abreu pumps it foul.
That one very hittable, fouled off.
Anderson at second, Cabrera at first. 3-2 on Abreu. He struck him out.
Confidence in his fastball, and this one a mile an hour quicker as he threw it by Jose, leaving runners at first and second for Todd Frazier.
Saltalamacchia and Farmer with one more conversation before the inning comes to a close. At least.
There's an area that you might be able to improve on.
Save some time.
If you were the commissioner. Limit the trips that the catcher can make to the mound.
Why can't we just give him a headset like the quarterback in football that only activates when you want to have a discussion?
And your pitcher has to have a headset.
Yeah.
What are you going to make him look like my favorite Martian?
Look like NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys with the thing sliding over the front.
Yanoa and Robertson.
I mean, look, we were talking earlier about equipment that pitchers can use to protect themselves on the mound. We can combine it. It will be number 1, engineered for safety, and number 2, engineered for communication.
So what do you ask the hitter to sit in the dugout while you're talking to him?
Well, you can call time. What's the hitter going to do? As this kicks away, runners at second and third.
And a wild pitch for Farmer. Bob Rosenberg with his familiar call of wild pitch. Because it was a slider, it hits, bounces back in the other direction. Saltalamacchia cannot corral it. That's the second wild pitch. This is only 17th inning of work for Farmer.
2-1. 3 balls and a strike. By contrast, in 11 years in the majors, our own Ed Farmer only had 39 wild pitches for his career.
And being a big curveball pitcher, there's pretty good catchers. Probably caught him.
3-1. 3-2.
Now you might not get it, but the reason Frazier's looking fastball here, twofold. Number 1, the best pitch that Farmer has, and number 2, he didn't want to throw a slider in the dirt.
There was the fastball.
Got it at 95, in on his hands, was able to foul it off.
Javi Garcia hoping for a chance. Second and third, 2 out, 8th inning. He got him swinging to end the inning. 2 stranded, 2 in for the Sox in the game, and that's enough for now. 2-0 at the end of 8. Here comes Robbie.
It's Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and here's our Miller Moments. And it came with the bases loaded. The game was on the bases. And Dan Jennings strikes out Jacoby Jones. And Nate Jones comes in, and he puts away Cameron Maben to get out of the jam, preserve the lead, and that's where we stand at 2-0, our Miller Moments. David Robertson comes into this, on for the 57th time, looking for save number 34, and this is 41st opportunity. And he's got a couple of tough guys at the top.
Sox last shutout came July 26th against the Cubs. Robertson against J.D. Martinez for strike one. Single to center last time for Martinez. Outside, ball and a strike. Miguel Gonzalez trying to grab the win after 6 1/3, 6 hits, 4 strikeouts. He was very good off the disabled list.
Yeah, especially with that long absence, he came back. The control was letter perfect, which was somewhat surprising.
Breaking ball fades inside, 2-1. Gonzalez so far this year with the Sox, 10 no decisions, 18 starts.
He's actually been very good. This Detroit team is a good offensive bunch.
That's trouble down the left field side, and it is
fair ball.
Fair and gone.
And I think Robin's going to want him to take a look at this, and we'll be able to tell you when we see it if it disappears behind the pole or if it hooks in front of the pole. Take a look at the baseball. You can see that baseball all the way. That's a foul ball.
Foul ball.
Yep. It is a foul ball. They don't even have to consult. Now Brad Ausmus is coming out. What do you mean? Well, I mean it's a foul ball, but now Brad Ausmus is saying take a look at it. And when they take a look at it, it's going to be uphill.
So Robin comes out, the umpires confer, they call it foul, so now the ruling on the field is foul that would have to be overturned to make it a fair ball, and here's the Zapruder version of it.
We'll tighten it up. You can see the baseball all the way. if you saw the baseball obscured at all, that's a fair ball. But the fact that you can see it all the way means that it hooked in front of the pole. And Brett Ausmus has nothing to lose by telling the umpires to take a look at it. But they will find, as our crew found before them, that indeed was a foul ball.
David says foul ball, right? Foul ball. He couldn't believe his eyes watching Martinez round the bases. Now Tom Hallion, the crew chief, and then Adam Hammery together on the headset.
This is actually taking a bit longer than I thought it would take.
Remember, in New York, they have the ability to go 600% zoom on a ball like that.
I would say that's a lot.
600% will do it, you have to imagine, in a situation like this.
Actually, a 2% zoom will do it.
Foul ball. It was a good sign that the plate umpire Hallion had to tuck his mask under his arm, because you need two hands to signal foul. You can do a home run with one.
A minute 28 seconds. Officially noted by Bob Rosenberg.
Timekeeper to the Stars.
World's best official scorer, who happens to be scoring in this ballpark tonight.
It's a select group. 2-2. Grounded foul. Low 3-2 on Martinez. Maybe some divine intervention. JD Martinez is mulling over. Three and two. Rip to short. Anderson up. Tim is a little late. Oh my goodness.
Well, early in the ball game, Anderson made just an unbelievable play. This time, the only thing stopped him from an unbelievable play was the fact that Martinez was a half step too quick. This is just a great effort by Anderson at shortstop once again. This ball ticketed for left field, but Tim Anderson, in the webbing of the glove, gets up quickly, fires it across on one hop, but unfortunately, JV Martinez, he's hustling with everything he's got. And it looks like he's there.
Second hit in as many at-bats for Martinez, and here's the guy that did the damage yesterday. Justin Upton, a 3-run homer in the 11th inning in yesterday's ball game to win for the Tigers. He's driven in 21 his last 14 games. And he takes ball number 1.
There's a very concerned Tiger fan who realizes already that the Indians have lost. Tigers haven't given up on the division. I mean, they're still close enough and have enough games with Cleveland to make a difference.
The worst they'll end up tonight would be 4.5 back.
They have got a 4-game home series with Cleveland and a 3-game road series with Cleveland. So they indeed have their destiny in their own hands, which is, in this game, all you can ask for.
Just off the plate, 2-1 on Upton.
The ball he hit out of the ballpark in yesterday's game was up and away, and he took it into the bullpen in right field.
Strike called. 2-2.
That's a break.
Oof. It's a good catch by Narvaez.
Yeah, I mean you can always tell by the catcher's glove, especially as you slow it down, if he believes it was in the zone. Omar didn't on the last pitch.
Two and two. Robertson.
Eric Ibar in the on-deck circle.
In for McGee. And Upton is frustrated with the proceedings. There goes Omar coming to the mound to talk to Robertson.
And Saladino wants to know exactly where he's going to throw it,
in order to determine
where he should line up. And also, he probably went out to tell him, look, I'm going to be playing mostly up the middle. So if a ball's hit back to you, I'm going to be the guy at second base on the double play. Pitcher has to know who's going to cover at second.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Robertson unloads. And Upton fouls it away. He couldn't chance it after the strike 2 call. Trying to turn on the ball inside, still 2-2. And there is Eric Ibar, the former Atlanta Brave this year. Two. Swing and a miss for strike 3.
Went to the curveball well out of the zone, and Upton went after it with no chance to hit it. Pretty good stop. You see Omar just leaning to his left, knowing that that curveball, when it hits, even though it goes away from the right-hand hitter, it hits and goes back into the right-hand hitter. Nice stop.
So it's Eric Ibar, who's 9 out of 40 as a Tigers player this year. 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. And he takes a hook for ball 1. Martinez at first. Ibar is not much of a power threat.
No, he's got a home run this year. He was a really good player with the Angels. Now he's made the rounds a bit.
Just low, 2-0. Saltalamacchia on deck. Gonzalez 6 1/3. Jennings 1/3 of an inning. Jones 1 1/3 of brilliant baseball. And there is Saltalamacchia, who's hurt Robertson in the past. That's ball 3.
There's a better than average shot that Ibar is taking 2 pitches here.
Inside ball, 4 on 4 pitches. And Saltalamacchia faces Robertson. Maybe Robin Ventura out of the dugout to have a conversation with his pitcher.
Robin wants to go over the scouting report they have on Saltalamacchia. He's not had the ball out of the infield yet, but did draw what at the time was a very big walk in the 7th inning.
He comes up just 1 for his last 20. But he does have a home run against Robertson this year. That was in the 9th inning. A 3-home run 9th inning for the Tigers on July 24th. in this ballpark. That's ball one. Ibar at first, Martinez at second. Ball two.
6 straight bad ones from David Robertson.
That was the lone hit for Saltalamacchia a month and a couple of weeks ago. Two and 0. He got under it. First base. Infield fly. 2 down.
Got that pitch right in on his hands. It was up. Saltalamacchia could do nothing with it. Good place for that one.
Tigers are going to pinch hit for Jones. Tyler Collins, the left-hander, comes up.
2 for 7 this year. One of those hits, a home run, and 2 driven in.
Called strike one.
Wouldn't mind seeing Leury Garcia a little deeper in center field. They're playing no double set with Melky and Avi. They're way back there.
Popped it back. 0-2 on Collins. Two strikes on Collins. The fans stand. Oh, and 2. He got him. That'll do it.
Good curveball ends the ball game as David Robertson chalks up save number 34. Little drama here in the 9th inning, and then the hook. Collins swings way over the top. Omar Narvaez with a great job of catching that one down and in. And the bullpen tonight, very good. So we'll take a look at some of the Pensmen with the bases loaded. Dan Jennings, who fell behind 2-0, comes back 3 straight swinging strikes to Jacoby Jones. Then Maben cut down with a slider. Nate Jones, another great night. He also gets Victor Martinez. And David Robertson with a strikeout. And a big strikeout, and that ends it. Sox tie the series at 1, a costly loss for the Tigers.
Congratulations to the Sox, who defied the odds with Chuck Garfien and Bill Melton in the booth. The Grim Reapers were here. They usually bring Sox losses when they do the postgame show. From here at our booth, the Sox win 2-0. And we have a post-game chat down in the field. Kip Lewis is ready to discuss it with Omar Narvaez. Kip.
All right, thanks, guys, with Omar Narvaez. First of all, let's talk about Miguel. Of course, he comes off the 15-day DL with that strained quad groin. Talk about his performance in this game.
Well, we were talking about a lot in the bullpen. Last time I called him, so we're kind of, hit the spot in and out. This is a great team, pretty aggressive team, so we got to be careful a lot.
How about your RBI single there in the 5th inning? Take us through that.
Well, I was just sitting on one pitch, so he gave it to me. I just hit it.
You've hit the ball very well, obviously, since you've been up. How much fun have you been having since you've been called up?
Oh, well, that's been a lot of fun, you know, like, yeah, hang out with these guys. I've been learning a lot. That's pretty much everything.
I know this season hasn't gone the way that everyone wanted it to, but what does it say about this team, the way you guys continue to fight, especially in a close game like this tonight?
Well, we will keep fighting, bro. I mean, that's our whole key. Fight every single night. Whatever we can do, we will do it.
All right, Omar, appreciate your time. Thank you very much. All right, guys, that does it from down here. Let's go back up to you.
Kip, thank you, and thanks to Omar as well. And Steve, that's an impressive young man, 24 years old and never played above A ball, and he's had a magnificent season.
You never know how many shots you're going to get when you get your opportunity. Omar has gotten his opportunity, made the most of it. A wonderful performance by Miguel Gonzalez, and a fitting way to bid adieu to our producer, Mike Leary. It's a good ball game tonight.
It was an absolutely fun one. Mike got the first pitch around the plate, and that's all you can ask for, right?
Indeed.
All right. See you, Mike. 2-0, your final score. For our director, Jim Angio, associate producer, Denny Blunt, tech manager, Mark Harper, the executive producer, Jim Corno Jr., and the final time for our producer, Mike Leary. Have fun in Texas, my friend. For Steve Stone, Jason Benetti saying so long from U.S. Cellular Field. Coming up next, Subaru Postgame Live with Chuck and Bill, and you've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. Good night.